Yes, it's back to Greenelm Station. Take number 7, where we're going to do some running of the trains, and it seems we're also going to run into some problems. But first of all, I just want to remind those who saw my previous video that the church was located much too close to the supporting wall. This was pointed out to me, so the town council of Greenelm Town got the permission from the Ministry of Religious Affairs to move the church, which they did, and is now located in the center of the village. That also gave him the opportunity to build a new fire station where the church had previously been located. And there it is, all ready to go, except there are no fire engines yet. They have been ordered, but they haven't arrived yet. But the fire station is there. Oh, and another thing, the lights on the platform of Korsbäck Station have been improved so that the passengers are now able to read the signs while they're waiting for the train, which never comes, which comes very late. And at least here now they have the light, they can read the books and look at their mobile phones until the next train arrives. But let's do some train running. We start with the good old vintage train, the steam engine, which runs from the Højby station. It is actually an analog line. It runs only on that particular line. It's separate from all the other lines, but there it goes. Here is the old steam engine. And off it goes. Down the hill from Højby station, round by the hill with the little cow shed, and around the corner, and goes on until it reaches the end of that analog rail. And all it can do then is really to put the steam the other way around and go back up the hill, round the analog line, up the hill until it parks again at the Højby station. Not very fascinating, but then what you expect with a vintage railway line. The passengers seem to love it. But let's turn to a more modern train. This is the rail bus from the Deutsche Bundesbahn, and is taking off from Greenelm Station, leaving the fiddle yard and going through the tunnel. And out it comes on the other side. Makes a quick stop at the Korsbäck station. Not that there are any passengers wanting to come on. In fact, the train always runs without passengers, but apart from that, it looks pretty good. So it takes off again, goes round the bend, and decides to stay on the line that goes up the hill. So in a few moments it will be pulling up to the Højby station. Yes, that's the same place where the vintage rail is parked, but the rail bus will be on the other side of the platform. And it makes a nice pretty short stop at this place. In the meantime, let's get started with some of the goods wagons. This Dutch shunter is perfectly capable of pulling all the goods wagons, as many as there's room for on the fiddle yard, and it takes them off the line and goes through the tunnel next to the fire station, and it comes out, of course, surprise, surprise, on the other side, but comes out together with the rail bus, which has meanwhile made a little turnaround, just to show that we can run two trains at the same time. Very good. Now, both trains are continuing their round, and after a little while the rail bus will make a pass while the goods train continues route on the other outer rail. At this time, the rail bus now decides to change lane again and go up to Højby Station, but basically to be parked there so that it's not blocking any rails while the goods train has to go around and find its parking area again. So we let the rail bus wait here for a moment. Now the goods train continues forward to the tunnel, which is where it has to stop and reverse in order to get into its parking area on the fiddle yard. The longest line on the fiddle yard, which is the only one that can accommodate the goods train. It stops there, everything is fine. Back to the rail bus, which will now start running again round its way and continue behind the hill, behind the tree that had just been planted, and coming down on the other side of the hill over the Korsbæk station. And now it goes around in order to be able to stop at the Korsbæk station and let off the passengers who came from Højby. So we make a brief stop here at Korsbæk. There he comes. And all the passengers from Højby, except there weren't any, will come off here. The train can now continue, and it's time to go back to its parking area by Greenelm Station. So it goes up to the point where it has to reverse and stops and goes back the line towards its parking area. All is good until now. The whole thing shorts, because this is where we have problem number one. A faulty turnout is causing shorts whenever the train passes. The hand of God has to push the train down to its parking area. Now we turn to problem number two. A place where trains always derail. It's in this tunnel. Going this way, no problem. Going that way on the outer rail, no problem. Going from the outer rail to the inner rail, no problem. Going back on the inner rail to the outer rail, no problem. Going back on the outer rail, no problem. Going back on the inner rail, here we come, and oops, it derails every time. Third problem, a turnout that causes shorts whenever a train goes in one particular direction. This was fine, it was going round on the inner rail. Going back on the same rail, no problem. Going from the inner rail to the outer rail, no problem. Now we shift and go out on the outer rail, no problem. Still need to go in on the outer rail, no problem. But when you want to go from the outer rail to the inner rail, poof, it shorts again. Yeah, well, as somebody keeps saying, we are where we are. There are problems, and I suppose I really need to replace the 3 shifts that are causing the problems. Only thing is that now during the COVID phase, I might not be able to get hold of them, can't go to the shops, and they are out of stock ordering from the supplier. So I'll just have to wait. And even if I do get the replacement points, I'll have to get the old ones out, and they're glued down and ballasted and what have you, and one is in the tunnel. So it's a bit of a nuisance. But anyway, we are where we are. I wish you all safe time, happiness and good health.